So we have reached the Oakland Raiders playbook and the playbook breakdowns. And the formation I decided to go ahead and take a look at was the gun Y-trips offset formation. I thought it was really unique. I'm pretty sure Oakland's the only playbook that has this formation, or at least it's the only one I've seen so far. The only one that I can think of that might also have it is like Philly or something like that. It's really unique. It's got some cool plays in it, so I figured I'd go ahead and take a look at it and break it down for you guys in case you were interested. So go ahead and jump right into it. The run game, pretty much I run two plays in the run game, and so one of them's the run audible, and then the other's another that no, I run three plays. Okay, I'm bad. I run three plays. One's the run audible, and the other two are kind of based on, I would call them based on like what your opponent's kind of doing on defense. So the first one I'll go over is the 0-1 trap. And if you've played online, 0-1 trap's a very popular run play. Very effective if your opponent doesn't know how to defend it. Most people higher up tend to, once you run it one or two times, they'll start pinching their line. That's the most effective way to stop it. But if they start pinching their line, obviously then you can attack other areas of their defense. So it's very effective if your opponent is not expecting it, though. If they don't have a pinch line, you get really good blocking. I'll go ahead and run it for you right there. The defensive tackle was able to explode off the line and make a good play in the backfield. That's typically not what happens at all. Usually right there is more of what happened. I kind of got caught up on my lineman, so I'll try to not be bad for you guys and try to get upfield. Right there, I got about 7 yards. I had a pretty big hole that I could have squeezed through, but I wasn't able to get there in time. Right here, they have 3 down linemen, so it might be kind of difficult, or 3 down linemen, but they were kind of pinched. But as you guys can see, like, it's something you can definitely hit like big plays off of, but it's also something that it's going to be a very consistent like 7 or 8 yards if your opponent's not adjusting to it. Obviously, the way to adjust, as I said, is to pinch their line. So if they start pinching their line, you're not going to have as much success running this play. You could definitely still find some holes with it if you want to stick with it and really try to establish it. But generally, something like what just happened right there is what you're going to see. It's very rare for that defensive tackle to accelerate quickly enough to where your guard's not able to pick him up. So it's generally a pretty safe play call. Very reliable play call, something that you can come out and establish, and you can pretty much dictate what your opponent does on defense, because maybe he might have a blitz that he likes to set up, but then when you start running the 0-1 trap, he's got to pinch his line, and that messes up his blitz setup. Like, it won't work if he has to pinch his line. So then you make him start doing things on defense that he's not used to doing and that he doesn't really want to do, and you can dictate what your opponent's running, and anytime you can do that, it's a good thing. So that would be my kind of base play, I guess you could say, out of this formation that I would come out and establish right off the bat. I'll go ahead and go over the quick audibles. The quick audible up is stick, very common quick audible. I've gone over this play. Pretty simple reads. Just be careful about throwing it in the flat to the right, because if you make a bad read and they jump it, it's a pick six. Like, more than likely it's a pick six. So just be careful with that. I'm pretty much always looking to hit Marcel Reese at the tight end position on that play. If he's not open for whatever reason, generally I'll look for the backside slant or the one-on-one user catch on the right. But I have James Jones out there, so he's not the best for user catching. So if you're using the Raiders like me, you might maybe want to swap Streeter and Jones or something if you plan on running stick, or pretty much do whatever you would like to do. But yeah, nice little short yardage play. The deep pass is 4 verticals, and I'll actually go ahead and back the ball up so that I can get more space on 4 verticals. This formation doesn't have the greatest group of passing plays ever, so 4 verticals is actually one of the main passing plays I like calling out of this formation, which is pretty weird. Like, I mean, 4 verticals is pretty common play, but I think it's actually pretty good. You see it a lot at like the lower skill levels. A lot of people run it because that A route, if you don't user it, it gets open against a lot of different coverages. So you'll see people who just run 4 verticals every play and try to throw that the deep cross. And obviously, like, people don't really do that as you get higher up, since people know how to stop it. But at lower levels, definitely a very popular play. Definitely a very effective play if your opponent's not, like using a lineman or something, and they're not able to take away that route. But pretty much the way I like to run it is I'll go ahead and fade Streeter, and then pretty much just read. If your opponent's playing a lot of cover 2, you'll have Butler over the middle. You can squeeze that in between the safeties. If your opponent's playing a lot of cover 3, you have the one-on-ones on the outsides with Streeter and Jones. You also have the one-on-one in the middle with Bryce Butler, which is why I opted to put Butler in the middle rather than on the outside where Jones is at. If your opponent's playing like man-to-man, you can look to take one of the one-on-ones on the outside, or you can look for Marcel Reese to beat his guy. And same with cover 4, pretty much. I would take the one of the one-on-ones on the outside, or look for Reese over the middle, since they're sacrificing kind of underneath coverage for deeper coverage. So go ahead and run this. Right there was against cover 2, and you could pretty much do that against cover 2 all day long. Just wait for Butler to clear the middle linebackers, or clear the hook zones in the middle. It's not always a middle linebacker, but just wait for him to clear the hook zones and go ahead and pass lead that inside, and you'll be able to split the safeties pretty much every single time. Right there, it's against cover 4, and so I just went ahead and took the one-on-one on the left side with Rod Streeter, used the height advantage to get up and make a play. Right there, I got some nasty heat. I tried to check it down to Latavius Murray, but I wasn't able to get the ball off in time. But it's just something that I think works pretty well right there. Derek Carr made a bad throw, but it's something that works well with kind of what you want to do out of this formation, since I would definitely like to establish the running game with the 0-1 trap, and later on I'll show you the halfback dive and the read option. And so I'd really like to establish kind of those sets of plays and make them creep up, have to move people into the box or start blitzing people, and then when they start doing that, that's when you can hit them deep with the 4 verticals, because more than likely, a lot of people will call like cover 2 and stuff like that when they're trying to stop the run. Like cover 2 invert's very popular, and so if your opponent starts calling stuff like cover 2 invert, 4 verticals is just going to tear them up. So it's basically just a big chess game. You do this, your opponent does this to counter that, and then you do this to counter your opponent's counter. And from that point on, you're just constantly paying attention to how your opponent's adjusting and what you can do to beat that. So this is just one play that you can go ahead and try to have some success with right there. Derek Carr kind of underthrew that, so that was unfortunate. But a lot of times, if I have the one-on-one, I'll be looking for I usually put my biggest receiver on the left side, so in this case Rod Streeter. So if I see one-on-ones, 95% of the time I'm just going to throw it to Rod Streeter, unless I don't like unless they have like a big corner over there, like somebody like at least 6'2", then I might try to attack other areas of the field. But otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it right there. Also, if you see that he gets behind his man, you can just go ahead and lob it and catch it instead of trying to just do the normal user catch. The other quick audibles, the run audible is halfback dive. And so pretty much it's similar to the 0-1 trap, except no one pulls, obviously. And it's just a good kind of complement. If your opponent starts pinching their line, this is something that you can run, since you get kind of better blocking against the pinch line than 0-1 trap. Since they pinch their line on the 0-1 trap, the defensive tackle really gets in the backfield quicker and kind of muddies up the play. Whereas on this play, they'll just straight up block him, and you can pretty much dictate, like, you can take this up the middle, or on this play, I'll try to like kind of take it to the outside a little bit. You kind of have some control over where you want to go. Like right there, if Weddle wasn't there and you wanted to, you could go ahead and try to take it outside. You don't have to go straight up the middle with this play, which is also why I really like it. So that's one of the other plays that I really like to establish, along with the 0-1 trap, is the halfback dive, since it's very good at attacking not only the middle, but you have a lot of control over where you want to run with the ball. And the play action is PA read, just kind of a standard flood play. I don't really call this that much. Well, I wouldn't see myself calling it that much. There's just nothing too spectacular about it, in my opinion. Like maybe if you thought your opponent was going to go like an all-out blitz, and you could try to hit Streeter on his little shallow cross and get upfield quickly, something like that. But otherwise, I probably wouldn't call this play. So there's a few other plays that I like out of this formation. One of them is the I'll just go over the final run play first, which is the read option. And so pretty much read option, very standard. If he crashes down, you keep it. If he stands up, you give it to the running back. So if you're not familiar with reading it, just go into practice mode. It won't really take you too long to get familiar with how to run the read option. Not too hard. Pretty much just stare at the defensive end. I've had it happen to me before where I'll try to hold, like I'll kind of hold off on reading it until the last second, and like if he stands up, I'll try to press A at the last second and it won't register in time, and I'll end up keeping it and getting smacked in the backfield with my quarterback. So just be sure to read it quickly and not hesitate, because that's when you could kind of get in trouble, take a hit stick in the backfield or something, fumble, or get your quarterback hurt. No one wants that to happen. So that's kind of the last running play. That's kind of your, since this formation doesn't have a halfback counter, that's kind of what I would substitute for the counter, since you have, at times, you have the option of kind of taking it off to the right side with your quarterback, which is almost like counter action. So it's just kind of a good complement, in my opinion, to the dive, the 0-1 trap. And they also have the inside zone, which is very similar to the dive, in my opinion. So I don't really run the inside zone, since you have the dive as your quick audible. I don't see the point in coming out in the inside zone. But if for whatever reason you find a reason as to why you like the inside zone more than the dive, I see no problem with running that instead. The other passing, the passing plays now that I like, the first one, there's two that I really like, and there's another one that's pretty situational. So I'll go over those three mainly. The first one's the fake screen wheel. And pretty much there's two ways that I like to run this play. The first one is you just leave it the same, and I fade Streeter, and although it looks like he's already on a fade route, he's actually on a streak route. And so I just find it more comfortable for me to try to user catch on a fade, because they kind of like fade towards the sideline. I don't know, it's just easier for me to get control in position just because I've done it so many times. Just a personal preference thing. You guys don't have to do that if you don't want to. But pretty much what I'll do is I'll read, first I'll look at the flat. If Jones is open, just go ahead and take that. Take what the defense gives you and try to get upfield. If he's not open, then I look for Butler, because a lot of times if Jones isn't open, it's because the flat guy ran down on him, and then Butler will kind of sneak behind that flat guy and be open. Has a chance to do that. And then if neither of them are open, that's when you look for Streeter on the one-on-one, or Marcel Reese releasing on his little block and release fade route, so seam route rather. So that's pretty much how I like to read it. This is the first way I like to run the play. So right there, I should have thrown that so much sooner, and I got lit up and fumbled, but I like hesitated right there. I should have thrown it a lot sooner, but I wasn't able to make a good play, and I got lit up, so that was unfortunate for me. Right there, I saw the one-on-one with Streeter, tried to take it, and unfortunately he wasn't able to hold on. I'll go ahead and try to run it again, but this is against goal line. But right there, go ahead and take that, and of course I get an awful animation, and I'm not able to turn upfield at all. Right there. And it's just something that it's a very safe pass. It's something that you can kind of run. Like sometimes I'll come out and call like a super safe pass, like to the flats or something, at the beginning of the game, just to kind of get a completion and gain some confidence. So if that's something you like to do, this is the way you can run it. The other way I like to run this play is I'll put Jones on an in route, and that kind of gives me another read. He kind of does the job of kind of occupying the flat at the beginning of the play, and then it gives you another read coming over the middle along with Marcel Reese releasing. So I'll in route, I'll put Jones on an in route and then fade Streeter. And that's how I like to run it the other way. And I do think this way is kind of has been more successful for me whenever I run it like this than compared to the other way. And I don't know if it's just personal preference or being more comfortable with kind of a check down read coming over the middle and not being as confident throwing those like little smoke screen routes, because I'm always scared that I'm going to make a bad read, throw it, and get it picked off, and if it gets picked off, it's a pick six. So I guess I'm just more comfortable kind of reading it this way, but I think it's pretty effective. It's kind of like a clear out a little route in a way where Butler kind of takes his guy out to the side, and then Jones cuts underneath, and you're able to hit him a good amount of the time. So it's just something, it's one of the more unique passing plays in this formation. This formation doesn't really have too many unique passing plays in my opinion, so you just kind of have to work with what you have. And right there, Derek Carr overthrew him. But the other play that I like out of this formation is actually not that unique. It's seen in a lot of different formations, and it is the stick and nod play. Let me see if I can find it. Right there, stick and nod. And so pretty much the way I like to run this play is if you have two big outside threats, I would just leave both outside guys on fades, but since Jones isn't really a big outside threat, I would just go ahead and put him on a smoke screen. And pretty much what you want to do is if Jones is open, go ahead and throw that at the snap of the ball. If he's not open, you have several options. If it's man-to-man, you're going to want to look for Butler checking down, or Butler crossing later on in the play, or the one-on-one with Streeter. Marcel Reese will very rarely get good positioning on his man. This route used to destroy man-to-man in the past, in like past Maddens, but now they fixed it to where he doesn't get a really good cut upfield on his defender. His defender sticks with him a lot better, so it's very hard to throw this route against man. But it does happen sometimes where he gets good inside positioning and you're able to throw it. So obviously, if you notice that he has good positioning, you can go ahead and throw that, but 95% of the time you're going to want to either hit Butler or Streeter. Against zone, it's kind of much of the same. I look for Jones first. If he's not open in the flat, then I look in the middle. I look for Reese first. If I see that Reese is going to end up getting behind the linebackers and I'll be able to make a pass to him, I'll go ahead and hold off and try to throw that. If I see that the linebackers are sinking back with Reese, that's when you want to hit Butler underneath. And then obviously if you have the one-on-one with Streeter on the left side, you can go ahead and take that. So right there, I saw the flat was open. Go ahead and throw that, try to get upfield, ended up getting 6-7 yards just from a little flat pass. So let's see. Right there, I got hit as I threw. I was trying to hit Marcel Reese, but the pressure came in really quickly right there. I wasn't expecting that from the computer at all. Right there, once again, the flat was open, and I got a pretty awful animation and was only able to get 2 yards. So that's kind of the risk you take with throwing that flat pass, is sometimes you get just like dumb animations. Like right there, Derek Carr made a bad pass, still able to get upfield and get 6 yards since no one was covering him. But what happens a lot is, I don't know if the flat defender kind of gets occupied with Bryce Butler's route, and so Jones is oftentimes left out there all alone, and you're able to hit that a good amount of the time. Right there, just go ahead and take the Bryce Butler check down route, try to spin upfield, get 6 or 7 yards. So once again, not really a home run play. Your home run play out of this formation is definitely 4 verticals. Right there, that was actually kind of a bad read. Jones fell forward for about 3 yards. But your home run play is definitely 4 verticals out of this formation. All the other passing plays are a lot of kind of underneath routes or one-on-one opportunity takers that I like to run. So, yeah, it's basically my scheme out of this formation is to establish the run, attack them deep with 4 verticals, and then every now and then you can go ahead and run something like stick and nod or like the fake screen just to kind of give them something else to think about so that they're not completely zoning in on 4 verticals every single time you drop back to throw the ball. But 4 verts is definitely probably my passive choice out of this formation. And there is one other that I would... Oh, wow. Okay, I caught some heat right there. There's one other pass play that I'd like to go over before the video ends. And it's something I've gone over in past videos, I'm pretty sure. But it's just a good concept that I like. And it's called Y corner. And pretty much what I'll do is I'll fade the backside Streeter for the one-on-one. But pretty much this is a very safe little short yardage play that I like to run. I run this a lot in like actual rank games and MUT games and whatnot. Pretty much I'll always look to hit Butler on his in route, and if Butler's not open, it's generally because whoever's in that zone right there is running with him, and that means Jones should be open behind him. So basically, you always read Butler to Jones, and then if it's man, you can go ahead and try to hit Marcel Reese when he cuts. If it's zone, a lot of times I won't even look at Marcel Reese. Well, not that I won't look at him, but a lot of times he'll be covered. So basically, 99% of the time, I'm hitting Butler or Jones underneath against zone. Go ahead and run this. Right there was against man-to-man, so obviously Reese was able to get good separation, so I hit him for the easy, whatever, 10, 15 yards. So right there, I read that actually kind of late, but was still able to make a nice catch and try to get upfield, break a tackle, get 8 or 9 yards. Right there, basically, I saw that Butler was covered by the middle linebacker, and so I went ahead and threw it to Jones. This obviously is definitely not a home run play. It's not something you're going to score many touchdowns on unless you have like incredible users and make like 3 people miss in the middle of the field, which can definitely happen. But it's just a very safe play that I like to call in short yardage situations. That's pretty difficult to defend, even if your opponent knows that it's coming, just because it does a good job of kind of flooding the short zones, and it puts that defender, whoever's right there, is in a bind to where he's got to decide if he wants to cover Butler or Jones, and basically you just pick whichever one he doesn't cover, you throw the ball to them. And right there, Jones like punched the ball out of the air instead of catching it. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, guys. I think the next breakdown is of the Eagles playbook. If I'm not mistaken, Philly comes after Oakland. So you guys can look forward to that. I'll try to find something unique out of that, since I know Philly's a very popular playbook. So that'll probably be pretty challenging to find something that hasn't been covered yet, but I'll do my best. So I hope this was able to help you guys out. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.